At Hoosier Racing, we don't wait for something to break before we fix it. Continuous improvement in operations is about relentless, sustained improvement. Analysis after analysis, metric after metric, project after project. We continuously strive to improve safety, quality, cost, delivery, and the environment. How do we do this? We use a variety of continuous improvement tools and techniques, and we involve all employees in the continuous improvement process. In this mission, we'll explore two key methods of continuous improvement, Lean and Six Sigma. Hoosier Racing uses both methods, and we call that combination Lean Six Sigma. Let's dive in and learn more about these powerful tools and techniques used by the most successful advanced manufacturing and logistics companies.
I'm sure you've heard of the word lean. When we think of lean, we usually think of trim or fit. For example, if we went to the butcher and ordered a lean cut of meat, they would trim off all the fat. What we would have left would be a lean cut. Well, lean is used in manufacturing in a similar way. We want our company to be trim, fat removed, and in a good operating condition. Lean manufacturing is all about trimming the fat or reducing waste from a company. How can we make our day-to-day operations better? In this leg of the mission, you will learn how Lean focuses on bringing value to the customer and eliminating waste. Read the instructions below and then click OK to begin.
What is Lean? Simply put, Lean focuses on bringing value to the customer. Anything that doesn't add value to the product in the eyes of the customer is waste, so Lean works to reduce or eliminate it. Click Next to continue. For example, as we make helmets at Hoosier Racing, we examine each activity performed in our manufacturing process and ask one simple question. Does this activity make the product or service more complete? For example, when we add a helmet liner, that makes the helmet more complete. But consider the activity of putting helmet liners into storage and then later retrieving them when they are needed. Does that storage and retrieval activity make the helmet better or more complete in the eyes of the customer? Of course not. So we look for ways to reduce or remove these activities from our process altogether. Click Next to continue. Why don't you try your hand at identifying which activities add value to the customer and which are waste? Remember, we may think the activity is important, but the question to ask is, does this activity make the product more complete? Don't worry, this is just for fun. But here's a hint. In general, if a customer is not willing to pay more money for the activity, it does not add value. For each activity, click either the Value Added Work or Waste checkboxes and then click Check Answer. Assembling and wrapping helmets both make the product more complete for the customer. While we have to set up our equipment and troubleshoot defects, those activities are considered waste because they don't make the product more complete to the consumer. They are not willing to pay more for a defect-free product, they should all be defect-free, or for us to set up our production equipment. So, why would a company adopt Lean as one of the tools in their continuous improvement toolkit? Because it works. Applying Lean concepts to operations results in higher quality products and lower costs, which is just what consumers want. Giving consumers what they want means greater market share, more customers for the company, and leads to greater profits. It's a no-brainer. And remember process velocity and inventory turnover from Mission 5? Lean companies increase their process velocity, which also increases how quickly they turn over their inventory. This means Lean companies don't tie up all their money in inventory, but turn it into dollar signs, fast. So the bottom line is this: Lean companies are more profitable. And that's great news for customers who love our products and for the long-term growth and stability of our company. So, that's great to hear, right? But how do they really do it? Click Next to continue. There are 5 Lean principles that drive the Lean decisions we make. We've already discussed the first principle. Specify what creates value from the customer's point of view. Click Next to continue. The second principle is to identify all steps across the whole value stream. A value stream is the complete sequence of activities involved in providing a product or service. The sequence includes everything from initial customer contact to the receipt of payment for a product or service that has been delivered to the customer. A company creates a value stream map to help them visualize the process. A real value stream map uses standardized symbols to represent customers, suppliers, process steps, performance data, people, inventory and information flows, and production timelines. When a team creates a value stream map, they can more easily identify where they can improve the process. And that's what Lean is all about. Click Next to continue. The third concept is making sure that production has a continuous flow. Instead of moving the product from one work center to the next in large batches, production should flow continuously from raw materials to finished goods in dedicated production cells. Click Next to continue. Fourth, we make only the amount the customer needs when they need it. This pull system is called just-in-time, or JIT. When you apply it to manufacturing, JIT simply means producing the right item at the right time in the right quantity with the perfect quality. Companies that implement JIT or a pull system for making product eliminate the waste of excess inventory. Click Next to continue. The fifth and final Lean principle is to strive for perfection by continually removing successive layers of waste. When we eliminate waste, we free up resources to spend more time on value-added activities. In a later activity, we'll explore 8 different types of waste so you can better recognize waste when you see it. Successfully applying these principles requires the participation of all employees. Companies that think Lean continuously work towards the elimination of waste, and that leads to a successful and profitable company. Click Next to continue.
It's a school morning and you're running late. You need to make a bowl of cereal. You go to the cabinet to get the cereal, but it's not in the normal place. Now you have to run upstairs to ask your mom where the cereal is. You may be thinking, man, I don't have time for this. What did she do with it? Your mom tells you she put it in the basement because there wasn't enough room in the kitchen. Now you have to run down 2 floors to get your cereal. You've wasted a lot of time and will probably be late to school now because the cereal wasn't in its normal place in the kitchen. This is an example of waste. Wasted time. In this leg of the mission, you'll learn about the types of waste commonly seen in operations. Read the instructions below and then click OK to begin.
The goal of lean is to minimize, if not eliminate, all sources of waste. Think lean equals no fat. There are activities that are value added or work, and activities that are non-value added or waste. Click Next to continue. There are 8 types of waste that can affect lean manufacturing: process, transportation, unnecessary motion, product defects, waiting time, overproduction, excess inventory, unused people skills. Click each type of waste to learn more. Process waste is any effort that adds no value to the product or service, such as rework, excess material handling, inspections, unnecessary approvals, and inefficient operations. For example, maybe adding a protective coating to a helmet visor mid-production requires the visor to be removed from the helmet and reattached. While the protective coating adds value, the reworking required by this process creates no extra value. Moving materials from one location to another adds no value for the customer. Wasted transportation is any unnecessary movement of materials, products, items, or information from one area to another that does not benefit the production process. Think rearranging stock or moving materials inventory to another building. Motion waste is wasted people movement. Motion waste includes a poor work area layout, too much walking by personnel, the search for parts or tools, and equipment that is widely spaced from each other. Remember that box of cereal in the introduction? Going to get it from the basement is an example of motion waste. Product defects are wasteful because they create losses of material, labor, time, and capacity. Scrap and rework are required when products are defective and have to be fixed. Defects are caused by poor manufacturing processes, caused by human errors or equipment breakdown. Rework takes additional time and therefore increases the cost of the finished product. Each task in a manufacturing process is dependent on the manufacturing processes that come before and after. If people, equipment, information, or materials delay the production process, time is wasted. We've all heard the phrase, time is money. Idle time increases the cost of production. Overproduction happens when the company makes more of the final product than the customer wants. This is the worst waste of all, since it can increase all the other wastes: defects, inventory costs, processing, waiting, motion, and movement. Excess inventory wastes company money in 2 ways. It requires us to store the inventory, like raw materials, somewhere, which costs us money. And the money you spent to purchase the materials and components that just sit around doesn't generate any income. We only make money when we sell the finished product. At Hoosier Racing, we pride ourselves on our lean operations. We've worked hard to identify all 8 kinds of waste and get our operations back down to size.
In the previous activity, you learned about 8 types of waste. But recognizing waste is just half the battle. When you see waste, what are you going to do about it? One of the tools we use to eliminate waste is called 5S. In this leg of the mission, you will learn about the 5 steps or S's of 5S. Read the instructions below and then click OK to begin.
Feel like you've learned enough abbreviations for a lifetime? Well, I hate to say it, but we're going to tackle another one. After all, every industry has its own lingo. The 5S tool consists of 5 steps. Step 1, sort. Step 2, set in order. Step 3, shine. Step 4, standardize. Step 5, sustain. Click the 5S in the center to check out the use and benefits of the 5S tool. 5S is a lean tool used to eliminate waste. It helps companies achieve consistent results by maintaining an orderly workplace. And it's all done through visual cues, so you can actually see 5S at work. In fact, it works so well that 5S principles aren't just used in manufacturing and logistics operations. They're also used in places like offices, retail stores, cafes, construction sites, banks, and many more. The most important benefits of 5S include improved product quality, reduced manufacturing costs, increased on-time deliveries, safer working environment. Click Step 1, Sort, to learn about the first step of the 5S tool. In the Sort step, we separate items in the work area into the following categories. Needed. These are items necessary to perform daily activities. Not sure if needed. These items in question are marked with a red tag and placed in a designated red tag area so they can be retrieved if necessary. If you don't use something in the red tag area after several weeks or months, then you know it's not needed. Not needed. These are items not necessary for performing daily activities. These items are then removed. The goal is to create a work area suitable for performing daily activities efficiently. Click Step 2, Set in Order. In Step 2, the Set in Order step, we arrange needed items so they are easy to find, use, put away, and are accessible to anyone. Here's how. The place for each item should be clearly marked. Items should be arranged in a manner that promotes efficient workflow, with equipment used most often being the most easily accessible. Workers should not have to bend repetitively to access materials. Each tool, part, supply, or piece of equipment should be kept close to where it will be used. The goal here is to eliminate waste in production activities. This is one example of set in order. Keeping like items separated and labeled allows easy access to each item. Using a board with the outline of a tool, called a shadow board, is another example of set in order. This visual cue allows you to easily see if any tools are missing. Click Step 3, Shine. In Step 3, the Shine step, we keep our work area and equipment clean by incorporating cleaning into our daily routine. Shine helps to maintain a safer work area. When everything is clean, spills, leaks, and other messes can become a visual signal for equipment or process steps that need attention. Makes it easy to know what goes where. Ensures that everything is where it belongs. The goal here is to maintain cleanliness. It should be a part of the daily work, not an occasional activity initiated when things get too messy. When the area is kept really clean, it is easy to spot potential problems like the mess seen here, which might be the result of an engine leaking and could cause a workplace injury. Click Step 4, Standardize. In Step 4, the Standardize step, we make work practices consistent and, well, standardized. For example, all workstations for a particular job should be similar, if not identical. To keep everything standardized across the organization, companies, Hoosier Racing included, use different colored tape or painted lines to identify or mark off different areas. For example, we always use yellow lines to identify walkways and white lines to identify where to store carts. The goal here is to use visual controls to create a consistent approach for performing tasks. Click Step 5, Sustain. Step 5, the Sustain step, is all about making sure that the changes made through the previous 4 S's become the new way to operate. If we stay focused on sustaining our new work practices, we can avoid a gradual decline back to the old ways. The goal here is to repeat the first 4 S's continuously and maintain order on an ongoing basis. To get it done, you'll need to periodically check the workspaces to see if the principles of 5S are being maintained. Periodic training and communication about the importance of 5S is also a way to sustain. Click Next to continue.
At the beginning of this mission, we talked about the importance of continuous improvement or a company working to get better and better. As we learned earlier, one tool for improvement is Lean, which helps companies improve the value that they bring to the customer by eliminating waste. Another tool for improvement is Six Sigma. The focus of Six Sigma is improving the quality of the products or services we deliver. The term Six Sigma indicates a level of quality where there are no more than 3.4 defects per million. Sounds pretty random, right? Well, you'll have to trust me on this one. It's not. In short, Six Sigma makes sure we're pretty close to perfect. In this leg of the mission, you will learn how a Six Sigma approach improves company performance. Read the instructions below and then click OK to begin.
Can you imagine taking a test with 1 million questions and only missing 3 or 4? It's hard to imagine, isn't it? Or how about making 1 million helmets at Hoosier Racing and having only 3 or 4 helmets with defects? If you could do that, you've achieved Six Sigma. This level of perfection does not happen by accident, good luck, or just plain hard work. Six Sigma, often shown as the number 6 and the Greek letter sigma, is achieved using a rigorous, data-driven decision-making process. And if you learn a little Greek along the way, that's fine too. In short, Six Sigma is a methodology and set of tools to increase quality. Since increasing quality should be everyone's goal, it's important to understand what Six Sigma is and how it works. The goal of increasing quality doesn't apply just to making products. It also applies to all of the services we provide to our customers, such as correctly filling a customer's order, delivering orders to the right location, and providing the correct information to someone calling our customer service center. Applying Six Sigma not only improves the end product, but also improves process stability, which means the process and the resulting product or service is consistent over a period of time. Using Six Sigma results in customers who are satisfied not only with our high-quality products, but also with the high-quality customer service we provide. Six Sigma is a great tool for addressing big problems or goals. In fact, you'll often hear of Six Sigma projects, which require a significant amount of time from a variety of people. Just like you don't need a sledgehammer to drive in a small nail, you don't always need to use Six Sigma to solve smaller problems or issues. In the cases of smaller problems or issues, instead of putting Six Sigma tools to work, companies often launch a Kaizen event. Kaizen is a Japanese word that means improvement. A Kaizen event may be a better tool for driving process improvements in smaller areas in the company, such as shortening cycle time, improving flow, or eliminating waste in an assembly line. Yep, Greek and Japanese all in the same mission. Pretty soon you'll be prepared for a job as a translator. A Six Sigma project is well suited for driving improvements across the organization, such as improving quality by reducing defects or improving yields, that is, the quantity of products we can produce. Just about any situation that requires analyzing large amounts of data could be a Six Sigma situation. Now that we know what it is and where it's used, let's put it to work. This means going through the 5-step Six Sigma process, also known as the DMAIC process. Yep, that's right, another abbreviation. Click each step of the DMAIC or DMAIC process to learn more about that step. The define phase of the DMAIC process is where the problem or goal is clearly well defined. In the define stage, you state what you are trying to accomplish, identify customer requirements, and determine the improvement goal. And when we're talking about complex operations like production facilities, defining the issue isn't always black and white. For bigger Six Sigma projects, this stage may result in a formal document that is approved by top management. The measure phase is where we focus on gathering measurements specific to the current situation. In this phase, the process is measured, data are gathered, and metrics are created. As a part of this phase, you'll have to decide what data is meaningful and then determine the simplest way to gather it. For example, say I've defined a goal of sleeping in later on school days. To make this happen, I've decided I need to reduce the time it takes me to get ready for school. Relevant data would include the time it takes me to shower, get dressed, check the mirror, eat breakfast, and drive to school. To measure the data, I would simply time each activity and write down the results. Each day is a little different, so if I want to be an overachiever, I might think to time myself every morning for a week, developing an average amount of time it takes for each activity. These measurements help move me one step closer to achieving my goal of more sleep time in the morning. The analyze phase is where we identify root causes of problems by analyzing the data gathered in the measure phase. In the previous mission, you learned about the tools we use to both measure and analyze. These include flowcharts, cause and effect or fishbone diagrams, control charts, histograms, and Pareto charts. To analyze my morning routine, I might want to use a Pareto chart to compare the average amount of time each step takes me. Once I identified the biggest time user, my commute, I could compare my individual commute times on another Pareto chart and set my fastest time as my new goal. I would also start to identify sources of variation between my commute times, like the time at which I leave the house or the route I take to school in the morning. So, you're ready to go, yes? You want to go, and now that we know what it is in the control phase, we confirm our results and assess the proposed solutions. We also develop controls that will ensure the desired results and prevent future occurrences of the defects, problems, or unnecessary costs. To control for my commute time in the future, I would probably want to keep an eye out for road construction, new stoplights, or other factors that could impact my new commute success. I would also want to keep my car in top shape and the gas tank above E. So, you're ready to go, yes? You want to go and figure out how to get more sleep, eat more cake, and generally rule the world, right? Hold your horses. Remember when I described Six Sigma as a rigorous, data-driven decision-making process? Well, I wasn't exaggerating. Six Sigma is used to identify and address opportunities for improvement in complex systems and processes. Unfortunately, it can't all be about sleeping in. So, to implement Six Sigma, you'll need training. Like with most stuff, it's one thing to know what a process is, but another thing to be able to put it to use. With that in mind, there are 3 levels of Six Sigma and DMAIC expertise a person can achieve through training and experience. Ever heard of the belts in karate? Well, that's kind of what we're talking about. Some companies award a yellow belt to any employee who has had Six Sigma orientation training. However, the first level of Six Sigma certification is green belt. Green belts are employees who are trained in the fundamentals of the Six Sigma methods and the DMAIC process. Generally, they spend about a third of their time working on Six Sigma projects. Black belts are the workhorses of Six Sigma projects. They work on project after project after project, and each project contributes big savings to the company's bottom line. Master Black Belts have reached the highest skill level in applying the Six Sigma process. They teach and train others to become Black Belts. Companies that successfully apply the Six Sigma process improve quality by reducing defects, improve process stability, and increase customer satisfaction. And that results in a more successful company.
The most successful companies know that their employees are the secret to the company's continuous improvement. In this leg of your mission, you'll learn more about how successful advanced manufacturing and logistics companies engage their employees' time and talents to achieve a culture of continuous improvement. Read the instructions below and then click OK to begin.
One way that companies engage employees is through job enlargement. When you start a new job, you may be taught how to do one simple task. However, wouldn't you get bored pretty quickly if all you got to do was that one task? Job enlargement in the workplace involves increasing the number of tasks that an employee performs and having them take ownership for the quality of their output. In the end, the goal is to increase employee satisfaction by demonstrating that you trust them with various and important tasks. Click Next to continue. A second way that companies engage employees is through employee involvement. Employee involvement encourages employees to take part in decisions. By putting the experience, creative energy, and intelligence of all employees to work, you can find new ways to improve quality and productivity. As an added bonus, involving employees in decisions demonstrates respect for their ideas and experiences and keeps them informed. For example, involving production employees in project and cross-functional teams can result in solutions that work in theory and, more importantly, in actual production cells. Click Next to continue. The third and most progressive approach to engaging employees is through employee empowerment. Employee empowerment gives employees who are not managers the responsibility and power to make decisions regarding their jobs or tasks, like allowing the employee to make scheduling, quality, process design, or purchasing decisions. Click Next to continue. What do you think an engaged employee looks like? Whether or not an employee can stand on his feet all day, keep quiet during work, or focuses only on his job has no bearing on whether or not that employee is an engaged employee. These characteristics do not indicate that the employee is participating in a culture of continuous improvement. Click Next to continue. With job enlargement, employee involvement, and employee empowerment, the role of a manager has changed. The traditional manager had more technical expertise than their subordinates, that is, the people who reported to them. Today's manager relies on the expertise of subordinates. The traditional manager solved all the problems. Today's manager delegates decisions and asks for suggestions. While the traditional manager had the primary responsibility for how the department was run, today's manager makes the best use of people's talent. Finally, the traditional manager knows at all times what is going on in the department. Today's manager doesn't tell everyone exactly what to do. As you can see, a modern manager engages all his or her employees in improving company processes and products. Doesn't sound so bad, does it? Click Next to continue.
Congratulations! You've completed the Continuous Improvement Mission. You should now have an understanding of the use of lean manufacturing principles and practices, types of waste, the use of 5S to eliminate waste, the use of Six Sigma to improve quality, the roles of employees and management in a culture of continuous improvement, career opportunities in manufacturing, logistics, or operations management.